just before the 2023. What do you have to say about that? $6.2 million paid to election observers.
I think it's actually scandalous because, first of all, a lot of international election observers from institutions that come here to observe elections as their own contribution to the development of democracy.
Very true.
They are not workers. They are not looking for money. They are not looking for places to work. They are people who think that we need help, and apart from needing help, some of them are from institutions that document democracy. So they want to know what's happening in Africa, what's happening in Asia, what's happening even in the US. They have international observers also. So the point I'm making is it's scandalous to spend that much money, considering that first of all, we don't have these foreign elections to throw around, and secondly, how much do we pay our own election observers here? Why can't we find better things to do with our money? Okay, so the election observers that we pay this much money for, can we get to see the list? Because when we see the list, we will not ascertain whether there are people who don't really get paid. And I don't really understand why any election observers should be paid. They are sponsored by CSOs. I've been involved in election observation, in observing security during elections, and I don't understand how government pays election observers. It doesn't happen. The payment usually comes from international donor agencies and global NGOs. So we need to get more information on this particular story. We need to know who was paid, that is, which organization was this money paid to, and how much were they paid, and how much were the individuals paid, so that we even know whether this is a scam altogether. Because as far as I know, people who come for international election observations are not really paid in that sense. They are sponsored by institutions that pick up their bills. That is how it works. So we need to dig deeper and find out who was paid, how much, were they really paid, and all of that is very important, because I'm not aware that we hire election observers from outside to come and observe elections. Even our local election observers are paid largely by donor agencies.
Very true.
So how do you bring in government paying $6 million plus to international observers? We need to know more about this.
Okay, the administration of Godwin Emefiele has been, fingered for a lot of corruption cases right now. And of course, this is one revelation that, we never saw coming until one of the deputy directors of the CBN made that revelation in court. Now, looking at all that is saying, we know the case is in court. There are certain things we cannot say, or certain remarks we cannot even give at this point, particular time, because since the case is in court. But looking at all that transpired during the Emefiele Buhari's administration, would you actually say, this is a case of witch hunting by the EFCC, or they're trying to ensure that the full course of the law take its full course?
My position is very simple. If we want to be serious about fighting corruption and getting to the bottom of the mess, then we shouldn't single out Emefiele of the CBN. There are so many other things that happened under the Buhari administration, and we should actually look at all of them. One of the things I'm very concerned about is this humanitarian largesse. That I still wonder, especially with what unfolded recently. I still think we should go back there and take a hard look, because they say that they were feeding students, and I've asked severally. We have thousands of volunteers. We made effort to track this feeding process, and there is little or no evidence that this thing was happening the way they said it was happening. And of course, you are aware that at some point they even claimed to be feeding the students during the holidays. So my position is that they should get to that point where, if they want to find out what happened during the Buhari administration, it shouldn't be restricted to CBN. EFCC and other agencies should reach out and dig deep and find out what happened in other institutions, other agencies beyond and besides CBN. I'm not averse to investigating anybody or any institution, but I'm saying that we should use a level playing ground. It looks as if, looks as if some people are interested in punishing or nailing Emefiele for maybe not doing certain things they expected him to do at certain points in time. But I said it looks as if. I think we should use the same microscope that we're using to look at Emefiele to also look at other persons who even manifestly and obviously did things that are not acceptable.
Okay, away from that, let's move on. Let's talk about the federal government quickly before we get to wrap up this morning. And if you're just joining in, this